Okay, take it away, Norma.
Okay, how many, have any of you been putting memories in?
I have not yet.
Okay, I started, because you gave me this assignment, I started to do it today on Family Tree, and it is so easy, but I guess this is on FamilySearch, so I just click on, I've been using Family Tree, but I clicked on my picture, and then if you see memories there, do you see the memories?
Mm-hmm.
You click on the memories, and then if there are any photos, then the photos will appear. And you can, if I do it, it's so much easier doing it on Family Tree on your phone, because you have the photos all in your phone, and so you can just click on it, you know, upload the photo, and then a little bit later you can label it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is. I found that it was so much easier doing it on the Family Tree app that's on my phone, and clicking it on, and then waiting a little bit, and then putting labeling it. Okay, and if you look at documents, then you can click on documents. What I did for documents is, let's see if you can see my document. I put my birth certificate in. I took a picture of it. That was the easiest for me on Family Tree, and then put it on. You know, I took a picture of it and put it on there.
That's a
Or
good
you
idea.
can go to document and you can select from a gallery. It's not, you know, it's just getting to do it and just seeing what it does. And then stories. Create a story. And I think creating a story is easier doing it on FamilySearch. I haven't discovered, and I have to practice more, how I can scan what story I've written already about me, and seeing how I can just put it into FamilySearch. I didn't know how I tried to upload a photo of a story, but I just couldn't take a good picture of it. So it's just experimenting what works, but you can do all this and add it to your memories. And the next one is, adding an audio. And so I did this. I just did this a little while ago. It's amazing what I have to do when I know you guys are assigning me something. But anyway, I just went on I did it with my phone, and I did an audio, and all I did was just, I don't know if you want to listen to this. It didn't take me long. I mean,
What software did you use to record with?
I used the Family Tree app.
Oh, right off your phone.
Yeah, it was so much easier to do it like that. I don't know how to do it on FamilySearch, you know, but it got transferred, you know, from the app. It's just amazing. It got transferred from the app, Family Tree app, to FamilySearch. So all of these I put on the Family Tree app. That was the simplest for me. But for the stories, I think I have to figure that out yet.
Very, very nice.
You know, I wish
that audio is fantastic. That's the one that I'm really having trouble with. So the fact you did it with your phone, that gives me great hope.
Oh yeah, it was so simple, and it was just on that Family Tree app. And I wish you could see that Family Tree app on this so you can just follow along with it.
For next time, I'm gonna try to get it so my phone will actually cast to my computer, so we'll be able to see that then, Norma, because there is a way that I can do that.
So on the Family Tree app, you click on the person's you want to do, and then you have things like you'll have details, spouses, parents, sources, and memories on that person. So you click on to memories on that Family Tree app, and then it will tell you, then you click on those little dots and then, or the plus sign. Am I confusing you? So on Family Tree app, if you try it right now on you, try it now. Try it on you.
Okay.
Okay, now click on your face. If you put your face in.
Wait a second.
You got it?
We must have to go back.
This isn't.
On your tree, you're gonna click on your face or your name.
Family Tree app too, and I don't know if I have it downloaded.
You have it on your phone?
Laurel, that's the same as me. It's like, oh man, I just got a new phone, so I don't have it downloaded on this phone.
Yeah, I have one that's called Memories also, a different app.
I know, I haven't discovered how to do that yet, but I did it on the Family Tree, and usually, okay, wait. Can you, oh, you can't see this, can you? I don't know how to put it on the TV. Anyway, under your name, oops. Oh, I got it mixed up. Under your name, we'll have different things like details, and then you go on, right under your name, it'll have memories, and then you'll click onto memories, and then you can, and then you click on the plus sign when you get it, and you can add, and then they'll say add a document, write story, record audio, and or add photo. And the photo will come from your phone that you can add.
I like the integration that it has.
Love it.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I'm at that page that you're talking about. I have some in here from FamilySearch, but there's a little plus sign that says add.
Yeah.
And then it says add document, write story, record audio, or add photo.
Right. And so I've done it today. I did it all on my Family Tree app. The only thing I couldn't figure out is writing the story. I didn't want to take the time to type out. It takes me so long to text. So,
So on your phone. Yeah, that makes sense on that one.
So I thought, okay, I'll have to see how I can scan and put it into FamilySearch. And I think you can. I just didn't do it. I did it many years ago. But so it works. The Family Tree app is really so much simpler.
I will say those are some great things. I'm sharing my screen right now. Some great things that we are given access to now. And I know technology is just increasing every day.
So I have a dumb question.
Yeah, there's no dumb question. Go ahead, Tom.
So if I put something out on Family Tree, who all can see it?
So if it is on a living person, then only you can see that. So like Norma was sharing a lot of the things on her own profile, which is a living person. But as you see on the screen now, my mom who's passed away, all of these things are shared with everybody, including you guys. I mean, you guys could look up this number right here and be able to have access to her file. So you'd be able to see all these things. Here are some of those. Here's what we've done, Norma. We've just scanned in some of those letters and so forth.
Okay.
I have included some of her poetry as well through the stories that I did have to type in, like you were saying. And I'm with Clint on this one. I've never uploaded an audio file. because of the fact that I needed some other type of application to do that. But if you can do that right on the phone, that's a really, really, really nice feature there.
You know, I suppose you could add videos too.
Oh,
I think, you know.
did you see anything like that? I didn't see anything like that, but
No, I'm just wondering if you can, but
hey, let me see. What kind of files do they allow? I mean, here's a video right here. I wonder if it would allow it. Oh, let's stop that. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to play around with that to see if videos can be uploaded. You know, it just reminds me, I was asking my brothers today, hey, have any of you guys erased your mom and dad's phone numbers ever from your phone, right? We still have them, all of us still have it saved in our phone. And one of my brothers even has an old voicemail that was given to, that my mom had put onto his phone when he called her, when she had called him one day. And that might be a nice thing to just kind of put onto, upload as an audio file.
mm-hmm.
So another thing that we wanted to discuss, memories was one of the goals that we wanted to make sure that every member of our ward or family takes advantage of. So we being the leadership, being able to teach someone how to add a memory is very important. Another thing that we were wanting to emphasize this year was being able to do a lot more family history and getting really into it. We do a lot of indexing. A lot of people get started with indexing, but the problem with indexing is that it doesn't really apply to your own family line. And a lot of people get really involved when they're able to get involved with their own family tree. And I was noticing when Norma was sharing her own tree, that there were a couple icons that I always draw, like really focus on. A lot of people focus on these green temples because we know that that means that there is an ordinance that is available. But the problem is with that is that sometimes those ordinances, they might be available, but there may be some misinformation. And so when somebody is using the app, what is that one? Find a Name. Is that what it's called? Find a Name. It's going to pull from all of these sources where there are a green application, green icon here. And again, there could be some misinformation, some left out information. And it's always good to go and fill that information in, usually before you take it to the temple, just so that there's no duplications of things. Because it does make our work a little bit more arduous when we don't do it that way. We have to go back in. So those are some icons that a lot of people focus on. But what get me really excited isn't so much of these green ones, it's these blue ones here. Because this is where I get most of my information. So if I were to click onto this here, I see that Mahali Patunai and Sophia Kovacs, they had this same file. This is the same file. If you look into it, it's a death record that was of Sophia Cormendi. Now, this is something that FamilySearch has pulled information from through a database, and it's really using an AI algorithm to kind of find this information. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's accurate. And so that's where we come into play. So these are like hints, they call them. And we need to go through and make sure that this is the accurate person. And when we start adding information, it gives us a lot more details so that FamilySearch can continue to do the work for us. Because the more information we put into our people, the more hints come downloaded into us as you give it some time. Like if I were to download, attach these files to these people, after about maybe a week or maybe a month, there may be some other hints that are added on just because I added something new to it, that the algorithm now is saying, hey, we got a lot of matches going on here. Maybe these are some hints that will be applicable to your family tree. So the first thing I do is I say, okay, well, this is the file, and it's on this person. And so I'm going to click on the child to see if that person exists. And I do see that there is a Sophia Patanai. Now this is going to be her maiden name. So I'm cued into a couple things. Number one, that definitely looks like it could be the person. And number two, I see that there's a married name here, okay? That Cormendi could be, in fact, her married name because it doesn't relate to either of the mother or the father. So that's what kind of the assumption that I'm making now. And I see that the record here, this person, Sophia Cormendi, had died in Akron, Ohio. And my own knowledge, I know that a lot of my family come from Akron, Ohio, on my Hungarian side. And so that really saying, hey, that definitely could be it. Died August 23rd, 1939. This is saying a couple more things that maybe we can add as a memory, right? Because when I add this file, it's not going to add the fact that she was a housewife and her occupation was that. It's only going to add a couple of other type of folders, other type of files, such as that. Actually, it won't even put that she died in this specific cemetery. It will say that she died in Akron, Ohio. So adding some things like that as a memory could be also an important thing that you can do when you're looking at these hints. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this because when I look at this child and I pop this open, I always like to, oops, I'm not using my mouse right now, so that's why I did that. Let's see if I can zoom out again. Oh. I'm just zooming in more. Okay. Use my keyboard to zoom out. I like to open up, and let's see if I can do it with the command key here. There it is. Okay. When you right click on it, I always like to open it up as a new tab. It's just something that's going to help you because I want to come back to my family tree and I don't want it to load up and take a lot of time. So whenever I open it up as a new tab, I always preserve the first screen. So that's a little trick that maybe all of you guys are using already. But so when I look at this Sophia Patonai, I see that she was born in the 19th of November, 1883, and that she did die, in fact, the 23rd of August, 1939. So as I go back here to that record, that hint, I have probably enough information to say that that person is the same person that is in this file. Let's see if I can zoom in there. So I'm going to go ahead and review and attach that. And we won't go through the whole thing, but the process is pretty dang simple. You're just going to attach the parents, catch, I guess I will do the whole thing because you can see everything here. And then again, we're just going to do one more verification. One thing I know from Hungarian families is a lot of times if a baby dies at birth or even young, a young age, like I'll give you an example. Let's say Sophia dies before this Lydia was born, who was my grandmother. What the family would have done is actually name Lydia Sophia. Once Lydia is born. So Sophia dies before 1891. I know if there's two Sophias, it's just because of that. That's just what they do. That's their tradition that they did. So I just got to make sure that I'm clicking on the right Sophia in a family. We'll compare that. We'll add the burial date. Okay. And again, notice how it's not adding anything else to that, to my record, unless I add a memory to it. And if you wanted to go back to the image that's there, you can click this. This is the actual image that someone has looked at. I'm assuming over in Hungary, or maybe over in New York where one person speaks Hungarian. They're right. Isn't that where Ryan lives right now?
Yeah, he's actually gone to a Hungarian church there just for fun.
Oh, does he?
Not all the time.
And this one actually is in English because the person died in Ohio. And I can look at that exact file that someone has indexed. Okay, that's in my way here. Okay. And I'll go ahead and attach that, and I'll go back and I'll close this source now because everything is done on this. Close that source and go back to my original thing. And if I were to update, load it up, refresh this, these should go away because each one of those have been added to that. And I was noticing as I was going through my lineage through the Pattonize and down through this Kovacs line, that we did have some empty files here. Okay, this is back in the 1700s, and here is one that they're looking to add some people. Again, some more hints, and this one says, this is, I love it when it has a couple of them, because what this means to me is that we have probably some baptismal records which show children. And if I click each one individually, I see that we have a son named Peter Georgi, named probably after, obviously after his father. And if I click on that again, I'm going to see that we have Eva Georgi. And the last one, we have another Peter Georgi. So, and this one was baptized in 1783, so he was born before June 10th. Right? I had a time we were moved. Oh yeah. And the first one, you go back to Peter Georgi, you see that this is 1777. So here's what I was talking about, that tradition. So what it says to me is that one of those died during birth. During, before the age of whatever. So we'll be able to see some of that as we add this. And this is what got me excited, was that's all I have. There aren't any children on this one. So this is a really key information for me, is that I can go into this and all I have is one person, Caitlin Georgi, that has 3 siblings that I've never added before. Okay. And yeah, then this is where you can kind of get really involved, because as you start to add these things, my assumption is they have lived a life. So there's a possibility that you may, once you add it and start adding some information, that you're going to get another hint or see some other things in FamilySearch. And I won't go into all those things on this call. But what starts to happen is, let's say that Peter Georgi, this is the one that was the older one, he went on to live a full life, meaning that he married somebody, had children, and so forth. And FamilySearch will start to populate those things once you start adding a birthday and a death date. And even if it has to be an estimated birth date and an estimated death date. Like for instance, for this one that died before this Peter Georgi, I'm going to estimate its death date, because I know that it was before. I can even put that as the death date, but I know it was before this Peter was born. So I'm going to put something like before 1783, and that could even populate some more information sometimes, depending on what's going on there. But that's kind of what we wanted to go over, just again, how to add a memory. And then how to get really started with family history and through FamilySearch. If you guys haven't done so already, I know all of the people on the call here have, because I've worked with you guys in your and seen how you've done your family tree. But if you haven't, the very, very first thing that you always do is make sure to populate all the information that you have access to. So if your tree doesn't look like mine, okay, this is my wife's tree here that I've added, and I have to add each one individually because it doesn't just come naturally just by adding my wife. I have to go back as far as the first person who has died, and this is the only person in her family that has died of her grandparents. So, excuse me, hold on. Yeah, her grandfather is still alive. And so I have now access, once I've added this, I have access to all of Durwood Larry Stevens' line. And the same thing will be true for you, unless you are, unless you're probably a convert to the church and just barely getting started. There may not be a lot of information. But to be honest, you probably are going to find a lot of information anyways, because there's a lot of people that aren't members of the church that are utilizing FamilySearch, utilizing its subsidiaries and our sister companies such as Ancestry.com and Heritage.com as well. So again, that's kind of how we get started with FamilySearch, looking for those icons, getting excited about those things too, because I don't know about you guys, but every single time I find one of those blue ones, I really get really excited. And I know it's just me, but I know it's probably going to be a nice good 3 to 4 hours of just great searching, where you just keep going down and down and down deeper, because you get more and more of these hints, and then you start to kind of pull one thread, and all of these threads start to coming out, and it's just a beautiful web that starts to be created. And it's hard to leave it, because you have so much invested in that time, brain-wise, that it's like, will I remember that? Which is another key thing. Probably take some notes. I start to take notes of, there was once this one family that had like 5 brothers in it, and I wasn't quite certain that they were brothers, but I started taking some notes and I started piecing these puzzles together, and the clues were just irrefutable that they were brothers. And I began to piece this together, and I was able to almost formulate the whole city that was the small little town that was there. And that was simply by making sure that I kept good notes and just keep pulling on those little strings that are those hints. But I want to kind of open it up to you guys. Is there any questions that you guys might have about either adding a memory or about attaching those record hints to any files?
Well, you know, in the Family Tree app, if you go on the Family Tree app, you know, you can look on the tree, and then there'll be a check mark next after that, and it gives you hints and people that need temple work. You can use the Family Tree app also to look at the hints.
I love it.
You know,
Love it. Again,
check on the task, and then you see the blue. And if you want to look at only the temple things that need to be done, then you just press on temple. But if you want to just see all of them, it gives you hints already, and then you can review, and if it's right and you know it's right or looks right, then you can attach it. If you're not sure, then you can just wait until you do more investigation. I don't want to attach anything unless I really know for sure.
Absolutely. Norma, I just logged in, and Family Tree just threw out a hint for me. Just like instinctively, it knows. It says, now is an important time to connect with your family. Here are 3 activities to get you started. One is a hint, another is an ancestry, map my ancestry, and then write my own story. So yeah, if you haven't got started with the app, that's a great place to start. Anyone else have any questions as well?
I've got a question. So once your parent dies and you're able to attach their record, how much faith can you have in all the family history that populates behind that? Do you still have to double check it, or is it golden?
Yes. Yes, you do. Because when a family member dies, everybody that has a living record can start to merge that. Okay, one person has to create at least one of the files of that dead person, and then the deceased person, and then we can start to merge those files. I don't think I have that anymore. I merged all the files that were out there, but let me see if my mom had something like that. I know that's a little bit more in depth, and we could definitely go into how to merge a file, because that is a kind of complex skill to learn. But you go into here, the possible duplicates, and thank goodness there aren't any, because it means that we've done all the things. I think when we first started off, after she had passed away, we had probably 11 different files, and some had different wrong information, right? Because we all make assumptions. We think that it's a certain way. Most of it was about, like where she died. I think that was more for my dad, like where he died. Some people thought it was in Boise. Some people thought it was in Mountain Home. And I had to clarify, no, it was in my home. It was here in Meridian. Yeah. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you, Jason.
I think you have to remember whenever you're going to do temple work, that when you're requesting it, you better check for duplicates, because it might have been done already. And so always look for duplicates. I think because when they're alive, everybody's putting it in. And so when they die, then you got to look for the duplicates, because maybe their work was done already.
There is a way that I could show you all the duplicates that we did combine on that. I can't remember how it's done. I thought it was in that one. That's why I was going to the possible duplicates.
So Jason, as you get ready to do that, if you click on the green temple icon and get ready to print, to go to the temple, has that duplicate check already been completed, or does the green icon mean it's been validated, you have 100% confidence that work has not been completed, or is there still some validation that you would recommend that we do?
So that's a great question. And the answer to that is, if you're doing it from FamilySearch, mechanically, like I just did right here, you know, like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and grab this and put it into my, where is it?
The queue, if you will. Yeah.
Where is it? Let's just go here. And I'm going to put it into my temple, right? Where I have all my ordinances, all the ones that I've reserved. It's going to force you to find out if there's a duplicate. Like, it won't allow you to print it, right? Unless you've gone over it and corrected that duplicate. But if you're using the app Find a Name, it bypasses that.
Okay.
It just prints those out, because it's trying to make it as simple as possible for the novice user, the one who's just barely approaching family history, and they're trying to not make a lot of hurdles for that person. But again, if you're doing it like the hardware way, where you're going in, you're looking for the file, and you're actually adding it yourself and doing all those things, it's going to have you double check. And I'm pretty sure it won't even let you, it's either it won't let you add it on, or it won't let you print it unless you've gotten rid of that or merged those files, or at least looked at them, and then either you're going to merge them, or you're going to say, hey, that's not the right file.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Great questions, by the way.
Yeah, you want to check, because you don't want to be doing the ordinances again for that same person.
I want the blessings, Norma.
You know, it's interesting, because I print some off from my wife, and she likes to do her side of the family, and so I go out there and I find the green temple icon, I add it, I print it, take it to the temple, and then when I talk to her dad, he goes, well, you know, if that record's already been done, because we shouldn't be doing duplicate records. And I thought, well, FamilySearch, if it allows me to print it, there's some assurance that that is a good record that truly needs that ordinance performed. It sounds like that's fairly true, but there is, because it will kind of block me from printing it without doing the duplication check, or if it thinks there's a duplication, it'll force me to go that route.
Actually, let me clarify that completely.
Yeah.
So if it is like somewhere between 25 to 50% that those files are similar, it probably will allow you to print it.
Okay.
Right? But if it is, and I wish I knew a person that I knew that had a duplicate and I could show you. But there's like this little number system, and it has it in dots. And the more dots you have, the more of the record are similar.
Okay.
And so if your record is somewhere between, 75 to 90% similar to another record, meaning that the birth date's the same, the death date's the same, it's born in the same place, but they don't have the same spelling of their name or something like that. That's when FamilySearch, at least for me, has said, hey, we can't let you reserve this record, or we can't let you print this record until it has been verified.
Okay.
Verify that.
That's a good clarification. Thank you.
But yeah, like I said, like Norma's pointing out here, it's always a good idea to go through, especially if you're not a novice anymore. If you want to get more involved with family history, before you print them, to do the research behind it, just to make sure that those are exactly the information. I mean, I've seen a lot of people where like the name won't even be on there. It'll just be, like Kotion instead of Paul Kotion. And that could have been added if they just looked at the hint. There was a hint right there that they could have added that Paul from a baptismal record. Any other questions before we end this call then?
No, but I love your suggestion on where to look with those little blue things. I've never done it that way before, so that's a good new approach.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
cool.
well, Laura, we're going to have to hear your type of hints too, as well, on probably maybe a future call here.
I'm running out of my hints. That's why I need some new hints.
Yeah, we just need to record them here so everyone will be able to see them. So, but again, thank you guys all for joining the call. And whoever sees this in the future, I know the more that we do with family history, the more that it not only does it connect us with our ancestors, but it connects us with each other. The struggles that we go through and the successes that we have, that we're able to share with each other, I think is part of that spirit of Elijah that we talk about, that connects all of us. And I'm so blessed for all the things that I have received from family history, from doing genealogy work and for doing being able to take these names to the temple. It gets me very excited every single time I do get into it. And the more skills that I know, the easier it does become. And when it becomes easier, it becomes more meaningful because I'm able to accomplish a lot more. And I know that it's the same with you guys. As you learn more skills, get more in depth with family history, that the meaning of it will become stronger in your life. And I say that in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
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 And so we'll go ahead and end this call then.